When it comes to talking about money, especially for women, it's so important because we often don't talk about the realities women face. Silence is often the enemy here. So, when we don't talk about money, when we keep silence in the center of all that we are doing around money with women, they miss out. Transparency and being honest about the realities that women face is the key to unlocking financial wealth and unlocking financial independence. But if we don't couple that with the realities that women are dealing with, the pay gap, the fact that they're sometimes the least educated on money, we're setting women up for failure or burnout and struggle. It is about creating a hopeful future for women because money and freedom go hands in hand. So many women find themselves trapped, whether it's by their just economic inheritance or reality of what they've dealt with, or if it's by relationships, whatever that is, having an idea about money, having a savvy around money really unlocks the potential of freedom, freedom of choice, freedom of movement, and of course, freedom of dollar. So when we really empower women by talking about money, we give women a chance at true liberation and freedom. I'm Kelly Bonner. I am the host of the Black Girl Burnout podcast. I'm a licensed therapist and a risk strategist when it comes to people focused risk and helping people build healthy work cultures. I'm so honored to be receiving this award from Savvy Ladies, mostly because I really truly believe in the message of this organization. Women need to know that financial freedom is just on the other side of taking the first step. And for me, this award reminds me that my work, which is rooted in joy and rooted in budgeting from a place of joy, rooted in financial independence and wealth from a place of joy, is still a message that is needed. That helping women, particularly in my case, Black women, unlock their curiosity with bravery to move forward to create the life they deserve is a mission that I am passionate about and a mission that directly entwines with Savvy Ladies' mission. So thank you for the honor. It reminds me to keep going. There's still much work to do, and doing it side by side with you all is the dream.
Being a young female in finance, it's pretty atypical. And I think something that I strive to do is to bring other females along with me. Only 24% of CFPs are females. Hi, my name's Emily Promise. I am president and financial advisor at Blakely Financial. I'm very honored to receive this award as the Rising Star. Abby ladies, it's phenomenal the work that they're doing to elevate financial education for women. At my firm, we have a strong internship program, many of whom are females. And oftentimes they come in as an intern, but they end up staying as a full-time career afterwards. And by doing that, it's providing a career path for young females who maybe never knew financial planning was an opportunity for them. So by doing that, I'm kind of paving it the way forward by providing a strong career path for females coming into the field. I've had a lot of wonderful mentors that have helped me in my career. For women that want to build their financial independence, I always say it's a multi-step process. You can start small just by understanding your personal balance sheet. So that's what assets you have, what liabilities you have, and then taking a real deep dive on your expenses and your income. If you do all of those items, you'll have a pretty good foundation of what your financial picture looks like. And then from there, you take the next step of starting to think about what your goals are, what your concerns are. But if you don't have a good understanding of what your balance sheet looks like and what your income and expenses are, it's going to be very difficult to build a strong financial future from that. I think it's especially important for women to talk about money because oftentimes that may not have been something we thought or we saw exemplified for us growing up. And I think that women oftentimes don't really think about money until they're in a situation where they have to, whether it's divorce or death or they're the primary breadwinner. So by starting and gaining a better understanding of your financial picture, if you're then put in a situation, you feel more comfortable rather than being in a position of distress in an already stressful situation.
Women will be inheriting more wealth than ever before. So we'll have more women and female investors than we've ever had before. In addition to that, we have a dearth of women who are in our business. It's mostly male dominated. Hello, everyone. I'm Alex David. I head up the Northeast Division for Raymond James as a divisional director. In addition to that, I have the privilege to be the chairman of the board for Quad A. Quade stands for the Association of African American Financial Advisors. I am super excited to be recognized by Savvy Ladies and accept the Male Ally Award. I think having a male ally in the financial services industry is of utmost importance and perhaps the most important in this day and age. And here's why. Women will be inheriting more wealth than ever before. So we'll have more women and female investors than we've ever had before. And so when you put those two facts together, we have more women investors and we don't have as many women professionals, either financial services or in the business period. It's imperative. It's so critical for us to work with them, build them up, be their ally, because this is effectively the future of our business. Quite frankly, I did not grow up with money. Many people that I know did not grow up with money, and many others are not having regular conversations around the kitchen table about trust and wills and money and portfolios. Well, there can be just an automatic intimidation factor to even begin a conversation about money. And so whether it's women, whether it's people of color, education is the key to begin to have confidence to talk about money. Oh, and by the way, just because you now have the education to talk about money doesn't mean that you need to know everything. Just having the confidence to ask the right questions, that in itself is critical.
There are some real heartbreaking stories where women don't have financial independence. It's not just the money that they don't control. If they don't control their financial independence, then they probably don't control other aspects of their life, important aspects like their health, like their ability to leave bad situations, their ability to make decisions for themselves, for their children, for their family. So I think that women's financial independence is to make them better participants in the world, better participants in their families, better participants in their partnerships, because money gives them agency and allows them to show up as more. My money mindset today is that knowledge is power. And I think that a lot of the financial decisions that I made in the past, that I think many of us make even now today, are ones that are simply lacking knowledge, right? A lack of desire, not a lack of intention, simply a lack of knowledge. And if you really take the time, little by little, you don't have to go buy a house today. You don't have to go invest in an index fund today. But if you little by little start exposing yourself to information, little by little, start exposing yourself to people who know more about money than you. What you will find is your confidence grows, your sophistication of thinking grows, your research sort of starts to table out because you're like, actually, I've already heard that, or I've read that, or I know that. And then you can start acting and moving in a way that reflects true power. Now, the confidence to talk about money took a little bit longer. So getting confident around it first started in the context of my nonprofit. Unlock Foundation is all about helping women close the wealth gap. And so I had to be comfortable articulating what we were doing about it. And then similarly, comfortable asking people to come on board. And that was really, just practice made perfect. I became more and more confident in having money conversations in general. It's important for everyone to talk about money. The reality for most of us is that money is the elephant in the room. It guides our purchasing decisions. It guides our sense of opportunity. It guides our sense of risk. It guides our sense of self. And many of us don't have opportunity to learn about it at home where we're growing up or in school. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a home where we talked about money. I think you've got a civic duty to share with other people what you know and what you've learned so that we all have a chance to make a better future for ourselves.
Hi, my name is Irina Sirota. I'm a market executive with commercial banking at Bank of America. The theme of our gala, having money conversations and making an impact, is incredibly close to my heart. Growing up, I often heard money discussed in hushed tones, as if it were a taboo subject. But the truth is, money is a vital, important part of our lives. It affects our choices, our opportunities, and our future. For women, open conversations about money are essential. They empower us to challenge societal norms, break barriers, and build confidence. Today, my money mindset is one of abundance and empowerment. I've transitioned from a place of fear and scarcity in my 20s So understanding that money is a tool, one that helps create opportunities for myself and others. I've learned the importance of aligning my financial decisions with my values, which has become a cornerstone of my financial philosophy. I now set clear goals on what truly matters to me, and I approach my finances with optimism and intention. For those who aspire to build financial independence, my advice is simple. Start small, but think big. Track your expenses, create a budget, and identify areas where you can save. Set actionable goals, whether saving for an education, investing in your dream, or building an emergency fund. Celebrate every milestone you achieve, no matter how small. Each step is a building block toward greater financial security. Embrace the idea that you deserve to thrive. Let that belief guide your financial decisions. Together, we can foster a culture of open dialogue around money, empowering women everywhere to take charge of their financial futures and making a lasting impact.
It's the access and it's the introductions that are the most important to the women that are interested in pursuing careers in financial services. The importance of mentorship in the financial services world, it can't be understated when it comes to elevating women. I've been in the industry since I graduated college in the mid 90s and have always come across the fact that there just aren't enough women in the rooms. I've studied a ton of data that shows that women are underutilizing financial services. They're not benefiting from contributing to the 401k plan. They're not benefiting from utilization of financial advisors. Hi, I'm Chuck Privatera from Goldman Sachs. I'm a corporate relationship manager on our workplace advisory team. I always say this was a business built by old white guys for old white guys. The importance of not just mentorship, but sponsorship as well, in terms of bringing women into the room, elevating them to participate in our networks, to join in our after work events and functions. It happens through people giving access and being generous with their networks and coaching and mentorship. When I was presented with the opportunity to nominate someone for a mentor mentee of the year, to me was just a no-brainer. These are two of my favorite people at the organization. This to me embodies the firm that we work for, the collaboration, the willingness to help. And just for me, there's nothing more rewarding than putting together two people that I know are going to benefit from knowing each other better. So recognizing that Miranda, young, energetic, very high performing, high potential, and someone that you're really rooting for, and recognize that, every young person needs some guidance, some guardrails, somebody to help them navigate the complex waters of a global Wall Street powerhouse. And I thought right off the bat, Andre would be a phenomenal mentor to her. Andre has a lot of the same qualities. He's a great networker, but he's also got some tenure, and he understands that the wild waters of Wall Street. When I made the introduction, they were both thrilled. And what I love Andre too, he will benefit, and he knows that from mentoring Miranda. The two of them have already had an incredible working relationship, and so it's kind of proof that we made the right call here. So I'm thrilled to see it.
Mentorship for me has always been more than just professional guidance. It's about opening doors, creating pathways, and making sure that when one of us gets a seat at the table, we pull up a few more chairs so that others can join as well. My name is Andre Dixon. I'm a vice president within the Asset and Wealth Management Division at Goldman Sachs. I work in a business unit called Ayco, and essentially Ayco is the financial planning arm of Goldman Sachs. I am thrilled and deeply humbled to win this award. I'd like to thank the entire Savvy Ladies organization for their tireless work they do day in, day out. And, as I reflect on my own journey, right, I stand here today because of many wonderful mentors, a lot of them being women and some wonderful men who really believed in me before I believed in myself. And I see it as my responsibility and also my privilege to be able to do the same for others. So I met my mentee through a colleague of mine, Chuck Privatera, who was a previous honoree. He came to me one day and said, Andre, I met this analyst and she's bursting of energy and ambition. Do you have capacity to mentor? I immediately said yes. And, I reached out to Miranda. We set time to connect one-on-one. And within the first 5 minutes of me meeting her, I quickly realized that I will be working for her one day. She was so bold. She had great, grand ideas and was really focused on making an impact. Right? So I see my role as a mentor really as, I'm here to be a resource to help her see around the corners to navigate systems. But at the same time, I've learned just as much from her as she's learned from me, right? It's been a real eye-opening experience, and I feel lucky to be doing it.
I am incredibly tickled pink. I say this is kind of a full circle moment, not only to get this award, but I've personally known Stacy since middle school, and it's partly why I chose to start my career within wealth management. And to see this organization blossom, just like myself, it really stems from people who want to uplift others and knowing that it's not just you, it's those around you. And this award is not only a true testament to me, but the growth of savvy ladies. I am Miranda. I'm an advising planner that sits within our asset and wealth management division, Ayco Goldman Sachs. I met Andre through Chuck Privatera, is one of the kindest, most driven individuals that I've personally met. Connecting with Andre felt like a breath of fresh air, someone who truly sees my goals and my ambitions. I am so grateful that I work alongside someone who is beyond dedicated to his career, has had a phenomenal success trajectory within his personal growth, and I honestly hope to only instill the amazing qualities that he's either passed along, as well as some great sounding resources and guidelines for me to personally carry myself within the professional field. Living in this generation, I am so beyond grateful because women have the autonomy to drive their own financial future and to be financially literate. And it's not just left to men. To think that 51 years ago, women could not sign on their own credit card or get a mortgage for their own house. So they had to rely on their husbands, they had to rely on their fathers, they couldn't build credit, and it would relay over into so many different facets. To have the importance of being proactive than reactive within your own career, with your own finances, really sets you up for success for your future, whether that's a milestone goal, whether that's a future financial goal, an apartment, helping out with friends, gifting to charity, investing, etc. It's really important to have these conversations. You really have to allow yourself to be a beginner because no one starts off as an expert. And having those thoughtful dialogues with your friends, your family, your colleagues, it really sparks the conversation of importance of financial health and well-being.